John Quincy Adams entered the world on July 11, 1767, in the small Massachusetts town of Braintree, not as an ordinary child, but as the son of a man who would sign his name to the birth certificate of a nation. His father, John Adams, stood at the heart of the American Revolution, and his mother, Abigail Adams, possessed a mind and spirit that defied the constraints placed upon women of her time. In the glow of candlelight and the shadow of musket smoke, young John Quincy's childhood unfolded against the backdrop of war, diplomacy, and the dangerous birth of a fragile republic. He walked in the footsteps of revolutionaries before he could fully understand their cause, watching his father risk everything for an idea, a vision of liberty that was as fragile as parchment in the wind. At just 10 years old, he accompanied his father across the Atlantic on diplomatic missions, crossing storm-tossed seas, while other boys his age played in quiet meadows, learned French from European tutors, Latin from his mother's handwritten lessons, and the art of diplomacy by watching seasoned statesmen maneuver through the treacherous court politics of European monarchies. Envoy in Russia at just 14. In palaces glittering with chandeliers and in cold halls where alliances shifted like ice on the Neva River, he absorbed the rhythms of global power. The boy was becoming a man forged in the fires of politics, his mind sharpened by exposure to the ambitions and betrayals of kings and ministers. He spoke multiple languages with fluency, read the classics for leisure, and dissected world events with a clarity far beyond his years. This was not a childhood. It was an apprenticeship to destiny, yet from the very beginning.
Yes.
The expectations placed upon his shoulders were not whispers but weights, pressing down with every breath. He was the heir to a legacy before he had a legacy of his own. The son of John Adams was expected to lead, expected to rise, expected to leave his mark on a young nation, still unsure if it would survive. But in those early years, there was no hint that his story, though destined for greatness, would end in a strange shadow. Celebrated in life yet quietly forgotten by the tide of history,